Canon just announced financial results for the first quarter of 2023, and it's time for a celebration. It's good news for Canon shareholders, but is it good news for their customers? Details coming up, but first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It means an awful lot to me, and it really does help this channel grow. Canon released their financial results for the first quarter of 2023. Canon says that the market is returning to normal after, well, you know what, and the growth potential of new businesses has further increased. As a result, sales increased by 10.4% on a year-over-year basis to 971.1 billion yen. Operating income increased by 10.9% to 84.5 billion yen, and net income increased by 22.7% to 56.4 billion yen, yielding a double-digit increase in sales and profits. So the key takeaway here is the market is returning to normal, and that's certainly good news for Canon and their shareholders, because as sales are increasing, profits are also increasing, and what that does is it reduces the risk that they need to increase profits or increase prices. I guess it's not a worry about increasing profits, it's about increasing prices, and that's one thing that we hate to see. Now with the R6 Mark II, it had the exact same price as the Mark I that came out 3 years earlier. However, that's in the United States. In other countries where the exchange rate hasn't done nearly as well, like Europe and the United Kingdom, well, we've seen a price increase of the R6 Mark II over previous cameras. But if the market is returning to normal, we should start to see, well, reduced wait times, correct? If we go back to November of last year when Canon announced the R6 Mark II, shortly after it went on sale, Canon apologized saying, "We're sorry, we can't quite meet demand." And not only was the R6 Mark II on there, but many other cameras, including the R7, as well as various lenses. So hopefully, as we move throughout 2023, the wait times for cameras will decrease, because if the market is returning to normal, well, that would be a natural consequence, correct? Talking about their camera division specifically, demand for cameras is solid as demand for travel and leisure activities recovers. And new mirrorless products from various companies are stimulating purchase appetite. In the first quarter, sales increased for new mirrorless cameras such as the EOS R7, EOS R10, and EOS R6 Mark II, and the product mix improved, resulting in an increase in sales. Some very interesting key points in this one here. So first of all, Canon's telling us that an increase in travel, or as more of us travel, well, there's an increased demand for cameras, because when we like to travel, guess what we want to do? We want to take pictures and videos. But the other thing that Canon was saying is not just more product offerings from Canon, such as the EOS R7, the EOS R8, the EOS R50, the EOS R10, all these new cameras that Canon has announced in the last, 6 months? Not only are they helping to drive more sales, but all the new cameras coming to the market from various companies are also helping to improve sales and drive the market forward. This year, we will continue to expand our lineup of EOS R bodies and lenses. We expect the market to reach 5.85 million units, and by introducing models aimed at broadening the base, in addition to those aimed at professionals and prosumers, we are aiming for a year-over-year increase of 1% to 2.9 million units. Reflecting the improvement in the product mix, we will revise our sales forecast upward by 16 billion yen, aimed at double-digit growth. As I said in the intro, this is definitely good news for Canon and their shareholders, but there is a glimmer of hope that it's also good for us as well. For one thing, we're not going to have to wait nearly as long for new lenses or new cameras as they're announced. That wait time should decrease. The increase in travel, the increase in new units coming to the market is acting like a bit of a feeding frenzy. That competition is driving increased sales across the board, and it's really good news for us. The one thing, though, that I kind of worry about is the increase in prices. We've seen this on many things, from food and transportation, well, everything really, right? With the exception of cameras. And this depends on where you are in the world, your viewpoint. For example, the Canon EOS R6 Mark II, regardless of where you are in the world, it's a camera. It has a certain set of specifications. And if you're in the United States, the price of that camera has not grown. In fact, if you factor in inflation, the price of the R6 Mark II has decreased by some 10% over the R6 Mark I. But if you live in the United Kingdom, in Europe, Canada, various other parts of the world, including Australia and New Zealand, because your currencies have gone down, against the US dollar? Well, we've seen price increases, but in the US, $24.99 for the Canon EOS R6 back in 2020, and here in 2023, the middle of 2023, the R6 Mark II also $24.99. So we can't really worry about the exchange rate. That's not really Canon's fault. They're just having to deal with it. That's a problem with a multinational. But where we've seen the yen drop, and if the yen has dropped significantly against your currency, then there's less of a pricing pressure to increase prices of these cameras and lenses. And it's certainly good news. And what we've seen in the last 6 months, I guess it's 6 months now. What month are we in? April. So about 5 months. I guess it's 5 months now, going on 6 months. Since Black Friday, November the 25th, 2022, we've seen incredible deals coming from Canon. The R5 never was on sale, and we're seeing it anywhere from $200 to $400 off. It does depend on the month, it does depend on what's going on in the world, but lenses have been on sale. We're seeing discounts where we didn't see them before, and not just on Canon. We're seeing them from Panasonic, we're seeing them from Nikon. The Nikon Z6 Mark II is $300 off right now, and this is really good news for us. We're starting to see things relax a little bit, and while we might see new prices for cameras up a little bit, we're seeing sales come, whereas for the first 2 years of this decade, for you know what, well, we didn't see any discounts. We were lucky to be able to get a camera shortly after launch. So yes, this is good news for Canon, their shareholders, but their customers as well. And I'm looking forward to new models, and hopefully this translates into less of a wait time before we see the Canon EOS R5 Mark II announced, as well as the Canon EOS R1. And of course, some lenses that many of you are hoping to see, such as some super telephoto primes and zoom lenses. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and rumors, not just Canon financial information or sales forecasts, but also the latest bodies, well then subscribe and choose all notifications. I cover all the major camera brands and all the major camera lenses and accessories. All you have to do is subscribe and choose all notifications. Just make sure you check your spam and junk mail folder, because sometimes your notifications show up in there. And for all the minor news and rumors, that stuff that doesn't quite, well, it's not big enough to have its own separate video, such as $300 off on the Nikon Z6 Mark II, well, then follow me on my Twitter channel address thingy, or whatever they call that. And that's where I tweet out that stuff, sometimes as many as 7 or 10 tweets a day. But thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day. And the one thing to keep an eye out, if you're not already aware of it, Nikon has an announcement on May the 10th for a new camera with an 8 in it. And we're thinking that's most likely the Nikon Z8. So on that day, 1 hour before the live stream that they're holding, I'm going to be holding my own live stream to talk about, well, the Nikon Z8, what we expect to see in this camera. Then we'll go straight to the announcement, and then we'll do our post-announcement wrap-up. But that's it for now. Oh, actually, I shouldn't jump right into that's it for now. And if you want to join that live stream, it's already scheduled. You can go ahead and find it on my live streams. That's coming up at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on May the 10th, 2023. So looking forward to seeing the Nikon Z8. And based on all the leaks we're seeing, I would be willing to bet my pet dog that this is going to happen. I can't see it not happening. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great week. Weekend's almost here. We'll see you again soon.